Hey, what's up, crew? Moscow here. And today we have an epic interview that I'm super excited for. And it's really to help coaches specifically with a big problem that I've been seeing in the space, where some of the most financially successful coaches that I know and that I've been friends with, and this is probably for the past 11 years, are some of the most their business is successful, but their personal finances are not so much, to say the least. And I think it's one of the biggest problems, because I truly believe that our business should be a tool for our life. It should be a tool to be able to create the resources, the finances, the time to be able to do the things that we love in life, whether that's spending time with our families, or it's building a family, or it's getting into a relationship, or it's focusing on our health finally, or it's doing fun stuff like going on vacation and travel. And business is an incredible tool to be able to do that. And what I see online is so many people are chasing the 7-figure dream coaching business, and that makes a big difference, and yada, yada, yada. And yes, it does make a big difference. And what I don't see a lot of people doing is actually enjoying the success that they've had. And I'm going to be interviewing Kim Dang today, who I think is an incredible example of someone who is awesome at business, has created a business that's doing $100K a month and is making a big difference. And she's also using that income to be able to create passive income, and has an actual wealth strategy in place to really fuel her life so that she can take time off. And she also doesn't have to keep, searching for clients every single month, because she has other income streams as well. And I think that it's one of the things that a lot of coaches aren't even thinking about. So I'm super excited to bring Kim on. She's a friend of mine. She's a former client, and I'm going to welcome her. Hey, Kim. Good to see you. And I'm going to
All right. Hello. Yeah. Awesome. Super excited to be here today.
Yeah, it'll be a good one. So I just want to start with, I think story is so important. Story is so powerful. And I think what's really unique about you is you're not just a coach. Like, I consider you to be a true entrepreneur. Like, you have multiple businesses, and coaching is just one form of how you make a difference in the world. So I'd love for you just to kind of share how did you start, and like share a little bit about your journey and what's going on for you right now.
Yeah, so when all my friends went off to medical school and grad school, I moved to the desert with all the money that I've saved up until that point, and I opened up a car dismantling company, which is a kind of like a wrecking yard, like an auto chop shop kind of thing, but it's legal. It's not illegal. And I did it with just my savings, and I started hiring people off of Craigslist to part out cars and list cars online. I did that for 5 years, and the income from that, I'm like, I am doing this so I can automate this, so I can live a life on my own terms. And that's what eventually happened, because I figured out outsourcing, I figured out hiring, systematizing everything. And from there, with a successful e-com company, that was still kind of fragile. It still made my income still fragile because someone else owned that land. I'm selling car parts, which is a lot of times a race to the bottom. And I didn't feel secure. And after I got my freedom, I started traveling the world to see like what other people I can meet, what's really out there. And I started just rock climbing and traveling all the time. And from that, I lived a very nomadic life. And it wasn't until my friend Rachel, at that time, Rachel S. Lee, I think you also know her. She attended some of your events. She told me about this affiliate marketing world, this online internet world, where you're building your own brand and your own face. And I started a very small Facebook group about affiliate marketing, which led me to, within a few months of that, I hit this realization that, whoa, people can package up information and can solve like copy paste quick problems with these teeny simple software where where people can pay me every single month for it. So I got into that world and I started having, again, with my skills of hiring, I hired someone to code the software. And one of my first software is called GroupConvert, which, by the way, I just got the 2 Comma Club award for
Congratulations.
GroupConvert.com, doing over $1 million. But yeah, just something so simple as a little Chrome extension. I thought that that was all it was until I saw that, you know, how you teach problem solution. The next problem that arises from that solution of people grabbing, by the way, GroupConvert lets you get emails from your Facebook group and pushes it to a Google Sheet. And with that, you can use that data however you want. But what most people use it is to monetize and get clients and get people, most of the time clients and customers. And because of that, I figured, okay, what is that next solution for that next level problem? And that's when the education program is added onto that. And now we have like coaches in our program as well as software. Since then, I've acquired as well as created 8 other Chrome extensions, and they all provide revenue. But what I've noticed and what I've begun to see is that as I'm coaching, I really coach coaches how to coach when they're growing their Facebook group and they're stepping into that role of being a leader. I noticed that it's very much a flywheel of get clients, and then some of my people, I teach them how to have simple software, but that's a whole other vehicle. So I have these 2 coaching programs. One are people who are software owners and some are coaches. But I noticed this pattern, this trend, that the people who are coaches, they want to become software owners. They want that passive income. They want that life. And then the people who have figured out the passive income, they're like, okay, passive income is set. Now I want influence. I want to teach. I want to coach. So these 2 ecosystems kind of feed off each other. And when I did a session with you, I realized that people, you know, when you have a program, you have to kind of craft like, what is your unique perspective? Why do people follow you specifically? And what I've discovered is all the coaches, there's a solution for them. And all the CEOs who want, software CEOs who are introvert but getting out of their shell and want to become a coach, there's a solution for them. But especially the coaches, it's a very much almost never ending game of let me kind of start over from zero. Let me get clients, because clients only last for so long. It's unlike simple software passive income that potentially you could have that client that pays you like $97 a month for the next 6, 7, 10 years of their life versus these 1-year masterminds or 6-month or 3-month programs that you have to consistently enroll people into. So instead of having 2 separate phases, it's like it's only the next logical thing to take that cash churning engine, which is in events, which is in coaching, consulting, and putting it into your own unique solution, which can be simple software. And when I say software, it scares off people, but it can be packaged in a simple way where it's delivered and people can just download it and it's available all over the world. So that's yes. So just to take you through my journey up until now.
Yeah. So there was a lot there. And I think it's one of the things, or what I notice is that even coaches who are doing 7 figures, multiple 7 on the way to 8, there's what many people don't talk about is they talk about the top line sales and no one's talking about profit. Like how much profit are they actually doing? And I've been in the coaching industry 11 years, and like most 7-figure coaches, when they hit that $1 million mark, actually take home less personal income than when they're making 400 to 600 grand. Why is that? Because as you're growing, because business looks different at those levels, like if you're doing 400 to 600 grand, maybe you have, an assistant, an executive assistant, maybe you have a coach who coaches your clients. But to go from that mark to the $1 million mark, there's different type of team. It's more complex team. It's more qualified team where your expenses go up. Maybe you're doing events, which cost money. Maybe you're running ads. So everyone's talking about the top line. Very, very few people are talking about what's the bottom line revenue. And then that becomes a trap, because even if they're going from 1 to 2 to 3 million, there's also other things that need to be put in place. There's more complexity, and there's not usually a plan for someone to actually take care of themselves as far as their wealth goes. And so, yes, you could learn real estate. Yes, you could learn crypto. Yes, you can learn all these other things. But I think what you do is really unique because it's simple software, and it's also something that's making a difference in people's lives. It also can be an additional service that you offer your clients, which I think is also something that's really smart about what you do, where yours is actually a lead generation source for your coaching business. And then your coaching business is a lead generation source for your software. So I think what you do with that is super, super unique. Before we get into that, I would love to just kind of break down your mindset because I know when you first came to me, this was like 2 years ago, and you went from $5,000 a month to doing 46 grand in 30 days later. I'd love to talk about what happened there in your mindset. And to be clear, this interview is not about you as a client of mine and you're my success story and all that. This is about you and what you're doing. That's why I wanted to have you on, because what you're doing is super unique. So I just wanted to make that clear, because I know a lot of people are doing client testimonial interviews, and that's not what this is. But I think it's important to share of what was that shift for you. And then now you're doing consistent 100K months. So I'd love for you to just kind of talk through that of what was the shift from 5K to 46K in your coaching business? And then what took you from that 46K to the consistent 100K months that you're doing right now?
Yeah, would love to share that. So 5K months is mostly software, starting off with software. And I found out that if you don't pair software with a higher ticket solution, you can't really afford to run paid ads. And at that time, I didn't even know that people were paying you $30,000, $50,000 pay in full. Those numbers were astronomical to me. I was very, very new to the coaching world. So I never enrolled anyone, even over the phone. I don't call people to enroll them, nothing. It wasn't until I went into your program that you kind of broke my brain saying that, hey, this is possible. And I did a workshop with you where you said, hey, look, these are the numbers. This is what's possible. This is real. And not a lot of people do this. This is very unique. This is very niche. Although high ticket sales might seem so prevalent in our world now, for most of the world, I think it's still a shocking thing. So I was really shocked. And I remember watching 2 modules in your Kajabi. And I just started applying it. I'm like, okay, these are the way I should do it. This is how I'm going to convert. Okay, I will start converting. And it took me pitching 18 calls. And of those calls, I closed 4 people in at 10K pay in full. Whereas before, I really there wasn't any payment. It was just $9.97 for an 8-week course kind of deal after selling them into a webinar or a $7 course, just that kind of thing. So It shifted me, broke my brain. I was like, okay, people can pay this. And then I'm like, well, of course. I mean, they pay you, and then they pay the other clients that, I was in your community with. So that shift was just me, just by myself, no team, just boop. And then freaking out for a little bit, going, oh my gosh, how do I build out a team? How do I build this plane as I fly it style? So yeah, from 5 to 46K was just nothing but just some phone calls, some closing, and the balls to say, give me $10,000, pay in full.
Yeah, let me just hop in real quick, Kim, because I think this is such an important piece of that's necessary, taking massive action, having a plan of where you're going to take action and then doing it. Yes. But then what I think was so unique about what you did is after you made that, then you're reinvesting in other things, you know? And I think that's where that's a trap that a lot of coaches don't see, you know? And it doesn't have to be the 46,000 mark, it can be whatever mark, right? Like they're not looking at their, well, I know a lot of coaches who aren't even separating business expenses from personal expenses, business revenue from personal revenue. That's not what this live's about. But it's like they're not even in that mindset, you know, of like they have one bank account and it's for everything, you know. And I think that when you really are connected to the numbers, then you can actually start to create freedom, because it's not what this is about. Like why you started to be an entrepreneur, right? And also, yes, to make a difference, which, yes, I think it's pretty standard. Your coaching business makes a difference, right? So once you get past that, it's like, okay, as you grow and as you want to make a bigger difference, what I see many coaches don't do is they don't put themselves first, their personal income first, and their time freedom first. So they become a prisoner to the system that they actually create. And I just wanted to share that because you've done a phenomenal job of setting up other things and helping other people implement things like simple software, where it's like, hey, this simple thing, when someone joins your Facebook group, these 3 questions get imported into a spreadsheet, which then you collect that data and you can market to, you can upload that into your CRM. Like it's super simple and it's really effective. So I just wanted to share that too. With that, so I know I took us off track a little bit. So if you can just kind of share from that's where you were then, and then now, like what was the shifts or the different things that you've done with software, with your Facebook groups, with the Facebook group strategy that you run with events, like that is now producing these consistent $100,000 months for you, Kim?
Yeah, it's very important to so something that you said about how I took that money, and instead of thinking of that money as, okay, now I gotta like get more clients, I took a chunk of that and put it back into software. I did 4 software within the first 4 months of getting into my first one. I just published another one, another one, another one. And then I'm like, okay, well, now I'm going to use this cash from the coaching and funnel it into growing the little tiny software businesses, which I do to this day. But I know that with a lot of coaches, it's just this highway of like, okay, get more clients. And I'm going to still have vacation and I'm still going to take breaks. But it's really this wheel of like clients. And so pulling that along till now, where we're doing consistent 100K months, it's because we have been super consistent in teaching the next level of now that you have emails from your Facebook group, how do you truly make income from your community? You're not just collecting emails, you're trying to convert. So with a small team of coaches, I'm like, hey guys, let's teach this. This is the next level for them. And yeah, we have taught them how to convert on a Facebook group of 300 to 400 people. How do you fill it up? Exactly what to say to do a conversion event, which can look like a 3 to 5 day training. And then forcing them to do that within the first month that they're with us so that they can see the results right away. The difference, the power is that we actually tell them what to say versus a kind of back and forth with a lot of coaching companies I've seen where it's like submit work to us and then follow these videos. And then people are like, well, this is a lot. This is overwhelming. And you know, it's not like submit, revise. It's like, this is what you're going to say exactly. This is the price point that you're going to charge. And it works. And so you should do it like this. And then they get into it and they do it. And that's why we have, you know, clients going from 2 to 10K months, maybe sometimes doing a webinar here and there to their Facebook group, or worse yet, not even pitching to their Facebook group consistently, to doing like Tyler, he went from 2 to 10K to 66,000 in the first 3 weeks working with our team, because we told him exactly how to show up in order to shift the mindset of his same group, the same group he was doing 2 to 10K months with, for them to see the life that they could live if they go and follow his coaching. So that's one of the things that has been working for our clients. So we do as we teach. So we do our 5-day trainings Now we've added on and moved towards VSL and everything else. But
hey Kim, let me just hop in, because I'd love for you to clarify 5-day training, because what you do is really simple. And some people may be thinking 5-day training, that sounds like a lot. Like, do I have enough content for that? Is it, am I going to be on 8 hours a day for 5 days? So if you can just kind of give some specifics for what that is, because I think why it works and why your clients implement is because it's simple.
Yeah, so instead of saying that you have to put all the pieces together, dot all the I's, cross all the T's to do, let's say a webinar, people are like, oh, you need to do all these slides. You need to have 3 months to set it up. For us, it's like, no, within 3 weeks, you're going to do it. And this is what you say. And I asked Adam Gillard, one of my clients, I'm like, hey, Adam, what was your effort in the program to allow you the success? And he said, it was literally one call with your team, a Zoom call, watching 2 videos, and that's it. And I went live. And so I wanted their success to be as frictionless as possible. And he did like 30% of what I recommended him do. So what we've seen is you come in, you jump on a Zoom call with the team, one Zoom call, you watch 2 videos, and then we give you a checklist. You don't need to finish it all. You could do 30%. And you'll start converting your people. So sounds like that, but that's coming from the mouths of my clients. We do have a lot of modules in our portal, our Kajabi portal, like 380, where we teach them like everything, like sales, just everything. But in terms of getting success in converting your people, it should not take a crazy amount of things. Following kind of how I got success when I went into your program, I'm like, I just watched 2 modules, and I started hopping on the call. I started like just picking up the phone and calling people. So I wanted the success to be so obvious and fast and easy. And in a way, it doesn't work for everyone. It does scare people. Rochelle, she did $23,000 within the first 9 days of her launch, where she only she was in our program for 2 weeks, and she's like, let's go. As she did her launch, and she said half of her face was frozen. She was twitching in an eye. She had to fly out for a funeral, and her daughter had to take over the messenger messages. So it was like chaotic, but she still did 23K on a 4K program. And that doesn't mean that that's a lot of people, but yeah. So we have just been super consistent with it every single month. We do it. The MRR increase every single month because some people pay in full, some people do payment plan, and yeah, there's no really big crazy thing to it. It was just if you see our Stripe, it's just like steadily go up, like up down kind of style.
So here's a question for you, because I mean, one of the success principles universally, whether it's in your business or in your health and fitness or in relationships, is consistency. And I think one of the biggest reasons why clients are not successful in your programs and my programs and everyone's programs, everyone has clients who aren't successful, right? Like all of our posts, all of my posts you've seen about my clients who are doing, $100,000 with a single Facebook post that I helped them write, or Andrew Cruz, who does 7 figures at his first ever live event. There's with those stories, there's other stories of clients who didn't get those results, right? So I'm curious, and I think a big piece of that is consistency. So I want to ask you, Kim, why do you think people aren't consistent? Why do you think some of them are not consistent? And then how do you help them? How would you help them become more consistent? We're just doing the things that they need to do. Business is pretty simple. Find someone who needs what you have, make them an offer, and deliver. But why do you think people aren't consistent with the actions that they take? And then how do you help them with that?
People aren't consistent because of most of the time when people start, there's life. Like they have family, they have obligations, they have a ton of things. And then maybe at the end of the day, they devote their time to this side project. If I had a lot of distractions or a lot of obligations all of a sudden hit me as a serial entrepreneur, I couldn't even survive it. I wouldn't be able to survive that. So to think about someone who is mentally not where I am to try to step into that role, it's very difficult. So one of my mentors, he's like, yeah, so when you are scaling, at first your life is variable, like your life has a lot of variables, and then your business has a lot of variables like this, and then at some point your business has less variable because you're making that consistent income, you're growing it, so it's less variables, but your life, your personal life, can still be super variable. And the people who transcend this are the people who figure out how to unvary their life with like routines, with you know, with knowing how their body responds, with eating better, exercising, health, everything, so that it reduces this variability for this to really go up. So what has helped a lot is that a lot of clients can get overwhelmed pretty easily. We actually create a concierge chat with each client, which is a group chat in Messenger, and they just gotta like get a little poke. So they get consistent little tiny pokes throughout the way. So let's say a client in a typical coaching program like does nothing. Usually the leader isn't like, hey, what are you doing over there? It's really like they wait until someone reaches out, then they respond back. For us, that's not the case. We just poke. Like, did you do that one thing? Okay, why don't you post this right now? Okay, why don't you do this? And those little tiny, mentally less exhausting activities opens up the chances of their true monetary success based on a lot of non-monetary actions. So a lot of the script, a lot of the stuff, it's not, it doesn't make them money right away, but they need to get those non-monetary wins up to a certain point until they actually see monetary wins. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. So that has helped tremendously, this coach in the pocket style. And yeah, so that has been working for helping with the overwhelm.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, I remember when you and your team members shared that with me, I was like, that's genius. It's because it's simple, and it's also not you. You have your team. You have your team who's in there checking in with them, making sure that things are on track. And also if they need support, that there's a proactiveness to it. And I think proactive coaching and proactive reach out is such a powerful strategy to implement. And so you've shared a ton on this. Everything from really your shifts from going from 5K a month in your business revenue to 46K to now consistent 100K months with simple small Facebook groups, and you're helping your clients do it too. And then also being able to have a entrepreneurial and a business owner mindset, and also taking care of yourself with your personal wealth, with having passive income that's simple, that doesn't also require you to learn how to day trade or how to invest in real estate or all this stuff, which, hey, there's nothing wrong with those, so I'm not saying don't do those. I'm just saying that there's another solution. Everyone talks about multiple streams of income. I think like you're doing it, which very few people are, especially in the coaching space. So I know that you have a live event coming up in Vegas where you have this super awesome mansion and you have a really incredible people coming. So, and I know that there are certain people who are craving live events, who are ready for them. Certain people are not, and that's all good. But yeah, I would love for you to share about the event that you have coming up in Vegas, where you're going to be going deep into all this stuff.
Oh yeah. So I think in this coaching world, to build a really strong moat around yourself, people can't just erect a Kajabi portal and, like your competition can't just open up a Kajabi portal and start teaching what you teach and charge way less, and all of a sudden, like, that's your competitor, but they can come into the space so easily. One of the biggest pain points I hear from my own coaches, for own clients, is, Kim, like, how can I charge this when the competition charged like 1/100th of it? And it's still a really strong mental thing to try to break. So at this event, we're not only going to talk about how we're doing $50,000 to $100,000 months with our clients. Our clients are doing that for themselves with little tiny Facebook groups, like 300 to 400 people, in the form of mimicking these little tiny events that they don't have to buy all this overhead they don't have to orchestrate a whole live event in order to get the same results as a live event in those little tiny Facebook groups. So that's one. I feel the next stage in the entrepreneurial journey is definitely being able to create this moat where if you invest, you figure out a unique solution to these problems because you've been coaching your coaches for a while. Let's say you're doing 20K to 50K months. You have clients, you've been teaching them, but you figured out like, man, if only like if they get this or they're using this tool or they're doing that, like I can provide that. Why am I sending them into all these other avenues? I can provide that. And so bringing a vision of what you can provide as a solution to life is what we're also focusing at the event. And I actually have Patrick Campbell, the CEO of ProfitWell. He confirmed with me he's coming, and he does $12 million a year on a software that is mostly hands-off. And I think it's going to be amazing. It's this August the 19th to the 22nd. So it's coming up. We only have 2 VIP spot tickets left. So you do have to reach out to me at Kim Possible Dang on Facebook in order to open up a conversation, because it's a smaller workshop. It's mostly clients. It's not going to be a lot of non-clients, but we do have a few spots for non-clients. And I rented out this multi-million-dollar villa to serve my people. And yeah, we have industry speakers, and it's not meant to be like a bunch of people speaking. It is really much a workshop environment. Christine Seal is coming. She's like the Go High Level queen. And she told me she's super excited for the event because she has a Chrome extension that like broke, and it allows her to get emails from First Promoter. And she's like, man, I need this to work. So it's a combination of bringing my software CEO people and its coaches in one room to take you through that big picture journey. And it's going to be amazing. And so, yep, August the 19th to the 22nd. And we're going to have a pool party. So that'll be super cool. One of the things I want to mention, Alex, is that even at a 7-figure coaching level, like I just spoke with Jacob Karras the other day, and he has a 7-figure coaching program. He's like, Kim, Stripe took 50%, like they froze 50% of our assets because of one chargeback. And another issue that I've seen that this can solve is that if you're in the high ticket coaching program and you have like 3 major high ticket coaches, and let's say you get one chargeback, Stripe is kind of going to be ruthless to you, and because it's such a large percentage of the amount you're taking in. Now, with my coaches who also have little tiny teeny $5, $10, $97 a month subscriptions along with their coaching business, whenever there's a chargeback, their account is fine. And so instead of juggling a lot of different payment processors, you can do that too. This is a solution for a lot of coaches out there who feel like they need to like get more clients, increase the volume, and kind of like work their butts off just so that they could be in good standing with their payment processor. Because if that gets shut down, it's like everything kind of dies. So that's also something that, not everything, but there's wire transfer and everything else, but it just makes it easier if you can get a card. So that's also something that maybe some coaches might want to have as part of their arsenal.
Totally. So if you've resonated with what has been shared so far, if you really want to start to, I think it's the evolution from just coach to entrepreneur to also serial entrepreneur, because you're having speakers come in who are going to teach on like systems and operations and really like how to build that part of your business, which is incredibly important as you scale. And also, to be clear, it's not two separate things. It's an integration of, yes, build your coaching business, make an impact. I'm sure if you're a coach, you love doing it. Yes, scale a mastermind. And as you're doing that, implement simple software so that you can create passive income that serves your clients, that also creates a pool of customers at a lower level that you'll serve no matter what, that is hands off, that also may then be a great fit for your higher ticket coaching programs, your events, your masterminds, all that as well. And then you're also going to be teaching at that event, so if you're watching this and if you want to learn how Kim's clients are, pulling 20, 50, 60 $1,000 out of their Facebook groups with a really, really small number, 300 to 400 people. I think it's a really awesome just a journey and arc that you've really laid out for your people. And it's something that's unique. That's also why I wanted to feature you. Like I don't do many interviews of other people on my profile, and what I heard what you were doing, I really wanted to feature you because it's different. And it's also alignment with the mission that I'm committed to now in serving the coaching industry, to have more than just a successful coaching business that produces money that they can show all these cool screenshots or share how much money they make and all that stuff, because it's not what really matters. Like I transparently, some of my most financially successful clients are kind of miserable, like their health has been falling apart, their relationships are falling apart. And so that's why my big transition personally this year has been to really shift that, and I think that you're doing an incredible job of helping coaches think bigger than just their coaching business. And it's not to abandon their coaching business. It's just to add an additional element to it that is supportive all the way around. So I think it's so win-win. So if you want to learn about that, if you want to be around people who are doing that, if you want to be around, someone who has a software company that's doing 12 million a year where it's pretty hands off, I think that's someone who would be valuable to learn. How did they get there? What are they doing? And I also believe that true innovation comes from outside of our industry as well. So if you love all that, and if you want to go to Vegas and hang with awesome people in a multi-million-dollar mansion and go to pool parties and have some fun too, send Kim a message. Just shoot her a DM. She's awesome. If you can tell, she's super sweet. She's wicked smart. And she's also the embodiment of congruence. And she's living what she's doing. And it's outside of what all the other coaches who coach coaches to coach coaches to coach coaches are doing. So I think that it's important. It is. It's different than what I'm doing, and it's awesome. And so send her a message. Like, it's coming up here soon. And if you've been thinking about creating something different or a different stream of income, like get to Vegas and just learn. Like it also, to be clear, with the simple software, because I know we've talked about this, you've been a client of mine. You don't need to know how to code. You don't need to be techie at all. Like, there's people who can do all that stuff for you. You're just the visionary. There's a visionary. You just put the pieces in place. And because I've seen it happen for your clients, Kim, I've seen people in my community and my masterminds work with you, and now they have software. And so it's just awesome what you're doing. I appreciate you, Kim. If this has resonated, send Kim a message. Kim, any last words from you before we close out?
Yeah, so if you're like, Kim, I don't want to send you a message, but I just want to go buy the ticket, it's at GroupConvert.com/live. So yeah, I rented out a multi-million-dollar mansion. I have a AV team that's there. The team cost me a pretty penny, and they're gonna bring in their camera equipment, everything like that, and they're going to help me navigate the entire event with all the food, all the catering, everything to go smoothly. So it's going to be an amazing event. So if you're like, Kim, I don't want to talk to you, but I will just buy the ticket straight up. It's at groupconvert.com/live. But I would probably jump on a conversation with you afterwards as well, because we want to make sure everyone in the room is meant to be there, and you don't have like random you're not going to be in this room with people who aren't there to learn exactly what you want to learn.
Yeah, which I think is also important as a facilitator of events. As you are the leader, you're bringing everyone in. I think that's awesome that you're also vetting. You're vetting to make sure that everyone's the right fit, because that's also what the powers of events, the community that's built, all of a similar mindset, who all also want the same thing. So again, you can grab your ticket. If you can drop the link below this video, Kim, when we're done, and shoot Kim a message. Thanks so much for being on, Kim, and thanks so much for watching. See you, everyone.
Bye.